Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back on the dev server and we're having a look at a pre-order premium that is coming in for Russia. This is another blue water machine, the SEVASTOPol. And it's kind of similar to the Gneisenau in a way. You know how the Gneisenau is being added as a premium, but basically what it is a Scharnhorst, but it has different turrets because it was supposed to kind of be refit. Well, the SEVASTOPol is a Kronstadt class, or the Project 69 class, but it also has different turrets. This one actually has access to the same turrets that you find on the Bismarck and also on the Gneisenau, the 38 centimeter 52 SKC 34s. So yeah, kind of weird, right? So its actual body is the Kronstadt, which was never fully built. And now it is basically a not fully built vehicle that was supposed to have these German turrets, which were supposed to be purchased from Germany, which never really were, and the vehicle was never finished, and Germany declared war on them, so therefore it all kind of fell apart. So this is just amalgamation of crazy stuff, basically. So you're taking one of the vehicles that was incredibly powerful back in the day, the Kronstadt, and adding some incredibly powerful turrets on it and putting it at 7.3 for some reason. So yeah, it's going to be a 7.3 premium at rank 6, so it's going to be the premium you want to buy if you want to get the Sovietsky Soyuz. And also makes it a bit easier to grind through rank 6, not just because of the reward and the research bonuses, but also the SL bonuses. And it means you don't actually have to research the Kronstadt in order to research through all of rank 6 to get to rank 7 for the Sovietsky Soyuz. It is also one of the only vehicles they're adding which you can actually run with some of the vehicles that are already in the game, e.g. the Kronstadt and also the Archangelsk, which is here since they're pretty close in BR. So this vehicle, its main armament, is these dual-mounted 38 centimeter guns. These are exactly the same ones that you'll find on the German vehicles, so they have exactly the same shells. They have the HE, the APC-BC, the HE with the base fuse, which is looking like a very spicy shell, and then also the HETF, which is turning up. So you know it's going to have some pretty good stats. It has a very good reload of 2.6 rounds per minute aced, which is a lot better than a ton of the competition that exists. And also it has a good targeting speed, so you can move the guns around. The difference in armament, though, between this and the German machines is actually in terms of the secondaries. So this vehicle has 4 dual-mounted 152mm, the B38 guns, which are right here. It also has 4 dual-mounted 100mm, which are mounted slightly behind it, and then it has these 37mm quad turrets that look like they're built like the Schilke's turrets. So you basically have like guns either side of each other in, I suppose, kind of a box shape. It's slightly different, though, since it is angled. So 6 quad-mounted 37mm to keep you safe from the air, and also 2 dual-mounted 12.7 Dishkas just for a little bit of window dressing on the front of it right here. So all of the other parts of it are very similar to what you find in the Kronstadt. You can also see that they have kind of odd like setup when it comes to the magazine and the shell room and where the ammo elevator is. I don't know whether, like, it just seems weird how that is so far away from the ammo elevator. Surely that's going to change unless that's kind of how it was designed. But you also have the bridge, you have the radio station, and then you have a fire control room, which is all the way up here, plus all of the fire directors, which are around the vehicle to make sure those guns are as accurate as possible. Has the 2 big funnels. One of them is larger than the other one. That's kind of how I tell it apart compared to a lot of other vehicles. You have the wonderful hydroplane in the middle with the Shikasses, and then also you have the big engine setup in the bottom, the massive transmissions, and then also the propeller shafts plus the steering gear at the back too. So overall, you're getting a vehicle that has a lot of good armament for 7.3, big old battleship guns and good secondaries. You're also getting some pretty decent like setups in terms of the X-ray and how it's there. Let's have a look at the armor. So the armor is 230mm for a standard belt, and also you have 330mm for the ammo elevators. So this is kind of where the vehicle falls apart. compared to a lot of other ones. The armor profile it has is not as good as other vehicles, but it does have better mobility and it does have the big guns. So you have to you're not good at soaking damage, but you are very good at giving out damage. So you're going to have to really push out the amount of damage with these guns here to justify your kind of existence. So you have 360 millimeters on the front of these turrets, 220 on the sides, then 330 on the ammos. The bridge itself is 330 on the front and then 260 on the side, surprisingly. Don't really know why it's modeled like that. And then also you have some other armor areas which make it, quite nice in terms of the setup. So yeah, you will be able to put out a lot of damage, but also will you be able to tank it? That's kind of the bit where it gets a little bit iffy. But you're also a lot lower than many of the other vehicles that they're adding into the game, which are going to be around about the 8.0 to 8.7 mark, and it's even, lower than the Gunaiser now, even though it has a similar main armament. But once again, this has less armor. So for the 152s, you have some HE, you have some APC-BC, you have some SAP-BC, and then also some HETF. So you can kind of use them however you really want to, which I think is quite nice. It's something that, at least for me, means that, you can just toss around them. And then also you get this as the standard camouflage for the machine. So you'll stick out like a sore thumb when it comes to these naval battles. People will know exactly what you are. But then also you can change it so you have the standard kind of Russian camos that are across the place, which are all around. So at least there's that, and you can, have a bit of fun with it. So for me, when I look at this vehicle, it's got great rewards on it. It's going to be the vehicle that you're going to use to get the Sovietsky Soyuz, and also to kind of grind out the general area of the tech tree. The real question is, can the Kronstadt, which is basically what this thing is, plus the better guns, can it stand up to the standard naval meta that we see nowadays in terms of the game? And I think the answer is yes, especially since a lot of the time you're going to be facing mostly AI, so the actual damage output of your machine is incredibly important in terms of how much you do, instead of, the amount that you can actually hold for the vehicle. And with the penetration on these rounds, and with the amount of TNT equivalent that they have too, plus the better reload than a lot of other vehicles, I feel like you will have a fantastic time basically playing this thing. So for me, is it worth the money? Probably not. But I also am a person who doesn't think anything at top tier when it comes to premiums is worth the money, because I'd rather just kind of grind it out. If you are a person who has some extra cash and wants to try and get to the highest echelons, quickly, and are looking for a decent vehicle to do it with, this one is going to be that vehicle. You just have to worry a bit about its armor profile, but you can improve it while angling, and also, as I said, just trying to do the most that you can in terms of trying to not get shot at, which, means just spawning it a bit later, or not going after players and going after AI, or doing a bunch of other stuff at the same time. The reload is going to be the thing that really kind of sets this thing apart compared to a lot of other stuff, and that, I think, is going to make a massive difference for outputting damage with something like this. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Warthunder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.